Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of LiamPicksFights. Today, we've got a great matchup to break down for you. It is going to be the main event of UFC 262. It is for the vacant UFC lightweight championship. We had the Eagle leave the building, leaving the lightweight division in a state of purgatory. Our champion-elect Dustin Poirier, unwilling to take the UFC lightweight title fight right now. He wants to finish his business with Conor McGregor. So instead, we are left with Michael Chandler and Charles do Bronx Oliveira. Longest win streak in the lightweight division on the Oliveira side. And on the Chandler side, we have a champion from Bellator, one of the greatest fighters in Bellator history, who is also going to be 1-0 in the UFC coming into this matchup. He was able to dispatch the notoriously tough and durable Dan Hooker in the very first round via knockout in his UFC debut. That was at the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier 2 card, and that was a huge spotlight for Michael Chandler. He made the most of it, cut a huge promo after the event as well, and cemented himself as a top contender in the lightweight division. And then we've got Charles Oliveira, who's been around for a long time, guys. It was in 2010 he made his UFC debut. Not yet 21 years old was Charles Oliveira when he submitted Darren Elkins via an armbar in the very first round. Very impressive is Charles Oliveira. He's got 14 career submissions in the UFC alone. That is a UFC record, obviously a divisional record as well. So Charles Oliveira, absolute stud. Incredible jiu-jitsu game, especially offensively. He has demonstrated the ability to submit anybody in the world. And on top of that, Charles Oliveira has been getting better on the feet, guys. He's been demonstrating an ability in recent fights to score TKO victories, to land big, clean shots on the feet. He's showing more confidence. He got dropped by a straight punch down the middle from David Tamer, and he did not fold up shop. He continued fighting on. So we've seen improvements both mentally, physically, and technically from Charles Oliveira as he has developed as a talent at 155 pounds. He struggled at 145 pounds, had some really tough losses, missed weight several times, had several incidents where he was accused of quitting, including in the Cub Swanson fight where he got dropped by a big overhand right and sort of waved off the fight himself. Also in the Max Holloway fight, where he shot a takedown against the cage after he was getting pieced up by Holloway on the feet, hit his head into the cage, and said that his whole body went numb. Night of, it was described as an esophageal tear. The UFC came out with their PR department came out with a statement saying doctors had evaluated Charles and they hadn't found any major head, neck, or chest injuries when they evaluated him. So take that for whatever it's worth, but that was a UFC main event opportunity that didn't end up playing out at UFC Saskatchewan, and that was again at 145 pounds. And we also have the Ricardo Lamas fight where, not only does he miss weight by 9 pounds for that fight, but he ends up getting submitted himself by Ricardo Lamas, the wrestler, and Ricardo's got a good ground game, obviously, but, you would think that Charles would have the better submission credentials there, and he obviously didn't make the weight for that fight, so you'd think he'd have an advantage, and Ricardo Lamas, very tough, gritty veteran, was able to secure the win there. So that was a long time ago. Now we've got Charles riding an 8-fight win streak, most confident he's ever been in his career, and like I said, he's made improvements to his game on the feet. He's a more formidable threat now from multiple positions. However, on the other side, we got Michael Chandler, who is a very skilled athlete. He's dynamic. He's got speed. He's got power. He's got a tremendous ability to cover distance quickly. He has wrestling chops. He was a Division I All-American for the University of Missouri. And look at all the success they've had come out of that program. Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, and now we're also taking a look at Iron Michael Chandler, who's been a successful MMA fighter with wins over credible, not even UFC legends, MMA legends in Benson Henderson, in Eddie Alvarez, all-time great lightweights. Michael Chandler has already been defeating these guys for years, But if you don't watch Bellator MMA, or if you're, not altogether super invested in MMA outside of the UFC, you may have never heard of Michael Chandler, but this guy's very tough. He made a big impact, like I said, when he arrived in the UFC, and so now people are taking note of who Michael Chandler is. We saw the odds open for this fight with Charles Oliveira as a significant favorite, minus 178, 64, almost a 65% implied win probability for Charles Oliveira. And on the other side, the comeback, and this is according to Best Fight Odds, was plus 146 on Michael Chandler, 40.7% implied win probability there. And we've seen early action come in on Michael Chandler, market wide, obviously. Michael Chandler moved from being plus 146 to being on average about plus 110 now on the money line market wide. I think the best price you can get Michael Chandler for right now is plus 118 on the money line. So my wager for this fight, 3.5 units on the money line on Michael Chandler, beat closing line value as of now. Knock on wood. We'll see what happens. But I have Michael Chandler at plus 125. Currently, the best price on Best Fight Odds is plus 118 for Michael Chandler. And that's why I got involved early. I had a feeling that more money was going to continue to come in on Chandler. I think that Chandler has a viable argument for why he should be the favorite in this matchup. He's got a lot of championship experience. He's been to the fourth round. He's defeated high-level, not as high-level as Charles, obviously, but high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts before, in Gyoti Yamauchi, in Brent Primus. So he has credible wins. Benson Henderson as well. Eddie Alvarez, I don't know if he's a black belt or not, but he's very credible on the ground. I think everybody would acknowledge that. So Michael Chandler is a very serious guy. And I think that especially in the first two rounds, it's going to be an exchange-heavy fight. I think that both of these guys have had durability issues in the past, but I think that they've reared their head more for Charles. And Charles is the younger guy. You'd think it'd be the converse, but Michael Chandler, despite having a longer career, fewer fights, obviously, but he's an older guy, more opportunities to get caught. And we haven't seen that quite as many times for Michael Chandler. He has 3 losses by KO or TKO, and if you go back through them, he got flash knocked out by Patricio Pitbull, which I think is a different kind of stylistic matchup. It's somebody who is, on a rare occasion, much faster than Michael Chandler. And so I think that threw off Michael Chandler, and he got hit by a big power shot early, and he went out. But it does speak to a concern for his durability. He was getting knocked out by a featherweight. I'll admit that. However, we also see that Michael Chandler had a TKO loss to Brent Primus in round 1 due to leg kicks. That was just very strange. It was one of the peroneal nerve incidents. We've seen that happen to other guys in the UFC, and it wasn't necessarily replicable. I think that it's not outside the realm of possibility here. Charles does have good low kicks, but I think that it's something that Michael Chandler is very aware of now, and I think that he's good at retracting the leg, moving in and out of space, not eating too many clean leg kicks too early to land his power punches. I think he knows it's imperative for his game plan to be able to be mobile throughout the first 2 rounds when he's trying to land his power punches, when he's trying to line up his opponent for a big power shot, whether that's the right straight to the body, whether that's one of the big looping hooks upstairs, or whether that's one of the straight right hands right down the middle. So I think that both of these guys have good tools. Both of these guys have interesting paths to victory. I think that if you look at the most likely path to victory for Michael Chandler, it's obviously to knock him out. We've seen Charles Oliveira fold up shots when he got hit by big punchers before. That's the game plan you want to try and follow if you're Chandler here. We've also seen, big, powerful wrestlers, in the case of Paul Felder I'm talking about now, get on top of, Oliveira, not let him work that guard game to success, and just bury him with pressure, power, and elbows from the top position. I've seen Michael Chandler posture up on people without giving much space and drop a bunch of short elbows and put them out. I think that he is capable of doing that in this matchup as well. So I think that that's my most likely path to victory for either athlete, would be Michael Chandler winning this fight by knockout. But I put the second most likely outcome of this fight as a Charles Oliveira submission. You know, it's not by accident you get to the most submissions in UFC history. He's got a high-level black belt. He's got a dangerous game. I love jiu-jitsu. I love the front headlock game. I love the guillotine choke. It's my favorite. And I like the series that Charles Oliveira runs from there. I think that it's very impressive the way he transitions from the Darce to the anaconda choke, to the guillotine choke, to the modified Peruvian necktie, to the armbar. He just has a great transition game. I think that anybody sleeping on Charles' ability to win this fight by submission is kidding themselves. Granted, on the other side, we got Michael Chandler, who's never been submitted in 27 professional bouts. I think that speaks well to his ability to stay alive here. Should he elect to wrestle? Should he be forced to wrestle at any point? Now, I also think that there's a possibility that we could see a TKO here for Charles Oliveira, right? Like I said, the 3 losses that Michael Chandler does have inside the distance, they were all by KO or TKO. He could get clipped in the calf. He could get clipped on the chin. It's happened to him before. It happened in the Will Brooks fight. Very strange stoppage. Seemed a little bit attritional. Kind of got his head slammed to the ground on a wrestling exchange. Came up, ate the hook, and sort of waved the fight off. But it didn't look like I don't want to fight anymore. It looked like where am I? Who are all these people? Why is everybody yelling? And I think that is a possibility, but I don't think it's all that likely. I think that Oliveira is more comfortable on the ground than on the feet. I think he might willingly try and put himself underneath. I think that he has to be careful doing that because Michael Chandler is very powerful, very stout, hard to submit, and can drop bombs from short space. And I think that it could take just one for Michael Chandler to put him out. I also think people sleeping on Michael Chandler's ability to latch onto something in the 3rd, 4th round of this fight and submit Charles Oliveira. Am I saying it's likely? No. Am I saying it's fair to rule that out? It's not fair to rule that out, guys. He's got wins by submission in his career. I think over 30% of his career wins are by submission. And on top of that, we've seen Charles fold up shop against guys that are not better submission grapplers than he is. Anthony Pettis probably not a better submission grappler in a jiu-jitsu match than Charles Oliveira. Ricardo Lamas, you could probably say the same thing. But they were able to submit him, as was Jim Miller early on in his career, who he later submitted Jim Miller. So I guess you could scrub that one from the record. But either way, guys that are not as good as Charles Oliveira is at jiu-jitsu, they still are able to catch him because he gets tired and because he's willing to concede positions and give up sometimes. And, Michael Chandler's got a hell of a squeeze. And he really wants this title. And if Charles, gets desperate for takedowns, because he's probably going to be trying to get takedowns of his own in this matchup, you would think so, certainly. If he's trying to get takedowns desperately and he's tired, I wouldn't put it past old Michael Chandler to catch some kind of guillotine choke or something of his own. But I think ultimately the most likely path to victory is Michael Chandler by knockout. I think that Michael Chandler has more upside when it comes to winning a decision in this fight. I don't think we're going to see a decision. I also have 2.2 units on the fight to not start round 4 at minus 210. I'm laying the chalk. I feel comfortable with that bet because neither of these guys see the 4th round very often. Between the two of them, they've only seen the 4th round 6 times in all of their 66 professional bouts. And all of those 6 were from Michael Chandler. Charles Oliveira has never been to the 4th round of a pro MMA fight. And so I don't think that he's going to break that trend this weekend. I think in all likelihood, somebody is getting finished in the first 3 rounds. I hope for my sake that it is Charles Oliveira getting finished. But I hope for your sake, it's an enjoyable fight. It's entertaining. I hope that however you take action on it, you succeed and prosper. I hope that you enjoy UFC 262. Everybody, if you are taking action on this fight or another fight from the card, drop it in the comment section below. Let me know who you're taking. Let me know whether you agree with my analysis, whether you are backing my analysis, whether you're going to fade my analysis. I'm comfortable either way. I'll let you guys know on the way out my 2 little tiny degenerate prop madness plays. 0.25 units, Michael Chandler round 1 plus 700. 0.1 units, Michael Chandler KO TKO round 2 plus 1100. I've had a little bit of success playing these round and method props in the past. Granted, we're picking an underdog and picking props and method here. So it's a big degenerate stab, but I feel like there's value there. I feel like that's the most likely outcome for this fight. Michael Chandler, 10 career knockouts or TKOs, all of them in the first 2 rounds, guys. I think that we are going to see one more from Michael Chandler before his career is all said and done. I think he's able to capitalize. I think he's going to become the UFC lightweight champion at only 2 wins, 0 losses in the UFC lightweight division. I think he's going to be a subject of controversy. I think a lot of guys in the division are going to call him out. I think it's going to be a fun time to be alive at lightweight in the UFC. And I think that the same thing stands true if Charles Oliveira is able to get the win, because he's put in his time, he's put in the work, he has put in, he's paid the dues, he's been embarrassed on the big stage before. So if Charles Oliveira is able to put all the pieces together, I would commend him. It would be a very impressive showing from him. And I think that he's rounded out his skill set. He's a more impressive fighter now than when he debuted in the UFC. He can make waves here, but I'm favoring the American Michael Chandler to get it done. I went in depth on this fight for you guys. I went over 25 pages of notes. I have a 4-page written breakdown. I'm happy to share that breakdown with anybody. Please reach out to me on social media. LiamPicksFights on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find me easily. Get in touch with the show. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy these breakdowns, tell a friend, let somebody know, share it on social media. I appreciate your help when you do. Thank you guys all so much. God bless you all. Enjoy UFC 262 and stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot more breakdowns from this card coming from me. Until next time, my name is Liam and I pick fights. We're out.